the voices of the Tri-States, Cindy.
And good afternoon, Tri-States, and welcome to this edition of your radio magazine, Voices of the Tri-States. Today, we are talking technology. Specifically, we're going to get some interesting ins and outs of the Google company. And in the studio sitting next to me, I have Michael Heeren of Heeren Associates. Michael, good afternoon. Thanks for joining me here today.
Well, good afternoon, Cindy. How are you?
Well, you know, I was going to say a four-letter word when I saw a four-letter word coming down today. Snow. Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
That was my four-letter word. That just, boy, oh, boy. It's got to be spring sometime, right?
That's right. And I think it's coming soon.
Oh, my goodness gracious. But speaking of words, you know you've made it, Michael, when...
Your name becomes a verb.
And we're talking Google. I Googled it. It's a
That's
verb.
Right. That's right. No longer do you go out to Google, now you Google it.
Wow.
Did you Google that?
Yep.
Google it. Check it out.
It's like when you want to have a soda, oh, I want a Coke or this or that. You know, it's like, yeah, you know you've made it at that point.
Right.
And speaking of me, you had some interesting statistics. The co-founder of Google, it's just amazing how wealthy these gentlemen are.
Yes, you're talking wealth of, these guys are now 41 years old. They started the company approximately when they were 25.
Okay.
And
a little less than 20 years,
yep,
okay.
less than 20 years. Now they're worth approximately $35 billion. That's
A piece?
A piece.
A piece. 35 billion. Wow, folks, at 41 to be worth 35 billion.
Yeah.
Isn't that something? And it will continue to grow. We're talking about the company itself. You've got some pretty good perks if you work for Google, right?
It's amazing, you know, and here's what's really neat about, you know, you think a guy who's worth $35 billion, and we'll talk about Larry Page, okay? Larry Page is one of the co-founders,
Okay.
and this is really unique. Not too many places, even the CEO of even small companies, go through all the people who are there. They're actually called nooglers, okay?
If you work for Google, you're a noogler.
In the beginning,
Okay.
when you're new.
Okay.
Googler, okay? And so during that, so you're an intern, you're maybe going through intern, or you're brand new, you're a noogler.
Not when you're old, you're not an ogler, are you?
I don't know yet. I haven't seen that part of it, but I tell you, for folks, you want to get a glimpse of what the atmosphere, what the culture is.
What it's like for working for Google, this
Right.
huge company.
Right, and it's amazing. Go out and rent the movie,
Okay.
Internship. It's
Okay.
hilarious, it's a comedy. But they interviewed many interns and they said, hey, was it like this? And the movie is, I mean, they made it as real as possible with having all the laughter and comic in it. But rent the internship and you get a great idea
Okay.
what it's like at Google. And so you said, what's some of the benefits? How about free lunches, free haircuts, gum, nap pods, campus bikes, foosball, pool, ping pong, laundry services, massages, all those things are all part, and there's a lot more. I mean, they have, you know, places all over. My son I've been there myself several times. My son just came back out there in California.
That's where the main
Valley.
company's
Yep.
headquarters is.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it's actually out there in Mountain View, California.
Okay.
And it's just amazing to see it. Now, they're all over the world.
Right,
Google's
they've
an
got
international
different,
company.
yeah,
Right.
they've got different little outlets and setups, similar to where we have our IBM here in town. But now, at the core of Google, for some folks that don't know, what is at the heart of Google?
What they do, their forte is their search engines. That's how Larry and Sergey, what they did is they created a algorithm of understanding how to have really good search tools. And that search tool is now, we call it Google. And it's the best in the world. There was Alta Vista and Yahoo and all those different ones that are out there. But Google is the best, there's no doubt. Now, some people will say they sell their information, so there's always good and pros and cons of everything, right? But it's amazing, it really is. When you Google somebody, you Google something, you know, anytime all the phones, which we'll talk about a little bit here, they're all connected into this huge database. And we're not talking about terabytes, we're talking about the one even above that one. So it's big, yeah.
From giga to mega to, oh my goodness,
Yes.
the words that we don't even know for sure. Now, when we talk Google, and you mentioned this, there's a lot of things that we're talking, like Gmail, right?
Yep.
What else?
We're talking Google's Drive, we're talking about Google's Docs. And Google's Docs is You know, you might see some commercials out there that, the pawn guys, for instance, they
Oh,
say.
Pawn Stars, okay.
Right,
Yep.
they say, you know, don't get that Google Chromebook because it doesn't support Word. Well, guess what? It doesn't support Word because they have their own called Google Docs.
Oh,
So
okay.
Word, Excel, PowerPoint, all those ones that you would normally use, maybe using Microsoft, Google Docs, and it's free. Almost
Okay.
all these ones that we're talking about here are free. The Google Calendar, the Google Groups, the News, the Play Store. That's where everybody goes and gets their apps on for an Android. You know, we have a lot of the other things. The Talk, the Google Voice, which is really neat. The Google Wallet. Google Plus that's the newest version of their version of Facebook. Now it's coming up strong. A lot of these big people are really starting to use it. The average person doesn't use it. A lot of people don't even know what Google Plus
I
is.
didn't even know what it is till you just said it right there, but it's similar to a Facebook.
It's similar to Facebook, yeah. It's
Okay.
really neat. I like it a lot. Now, if you're into drawing, if you ever heard of something like AutoCAD or something like that, they make a program. It's an actual. All these programs are on the cloud. They're cloud computing, so they actually run on the cloud. A lot of people think cloud computing is only data storage. Well, these programs that I'm talking about, they're all running off the cloud, so you don't have to install it on your computer.
Which means all I'd have to do is go onto my computer
Right.
and go onto their
Right.
website or the
Exactly.
Google store
And run it.
and run it.
So this
Okay.
program called Google SketchUp, it allows you to draw and even do 3D drawings like AutoCAD does. And it's amazing. And then there's the Google Photo. You can do auto like Photoshop, but it's Google's version. And all your photos that you take, you can go on and take the red eye out of them. You can do all those things in there. And then we have the Google, one of my favorite is Google Sky Map. I love looking at the stars.
Okay, so what does that do? That just kind of opens it up to somewhere in the sky? Or?
Well, here's the thing, you can, imagine having a map. We have maps to go anywhere we want, right? Want to go to California, we get a map out. Now you can actually look at the map of the sky. If you want to know where the North Star's at, or you want to know where Pluto's at, or you want to know where, Saturn's at, the Google Sky Map will actually show you. You get pointed up in the sky and it'll actually show you where it's at off your phone. Absolutely amazing.
Wow, isn't that something? But it just, I look at all these different gadgets and, it was interesting last week. I was Googling. I did two things. I needed to find a location. And
Right.
I did them side by side where usually my old standby was MapQuest. And then that one, for some reason, I had to now download an app and, which
Yep.
folks are like, what's an app? It's just a software program.
Applications,
But
it
if I,
stands for,
right, but if I went to just the Google area, I didn't have to do that. All
No.
I had to do is do a real simple, like I
Yep.
used to with the
And it's
other one.
amazing, it really is.
Just put the address in, right?
Exactly, we're getting closer and closer to just real-time stuff. It's not quite there yet. If you look at the Google Maps or one that's really neat, the Google Earth, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but when you zoom in that kind of stuff, and I like to talk a little bit about that later on, about
Okay.
kind of like the flight that we just know that's missing right now. I'll talk a little bit about that.
Okay,
But
okay.
yeah, these things are great, and I'll tell you, for all the people who are shoppers out there, imagine having something now expressed the same day.
The Google Shopping Express, tell me about that.
Yeah, so if you order something, and they'll deliver it the same day. Now, right now, it's down to, they're testing it in a few places, San Francisco, the Silicon Valley, San Jose, stuff like that. But eventually, it'll be everywhere. Google is, they're not people who say, hey, we'll get to that someday. These people do it. It's amazing. Now, I want to sound like, I don't want to sound today like I'm pro 100% Google.
Right, we're just
All right.
talking about what Google is and what they do and
Right.
how amazing and big it actually is.
It's huge.
right?
It's almost hard to comprehend how big it is. And hopefully, folks, if you got a pen and a paper, now make sure you grab it today, because I'm going to tell you, we're going to go through some quick, ideas about what Google is, and I'm going to pique a lot of people's interest. Now they can go ahead and Google it themselves and look at some of these things that we're going to talk about. They're absolutely amazing.
Yikes, I don't know if I want to look at myself, Michael, but anyway, one more, Google Chrome, and this is something, and you mentioned this just a little bit here, but this is like an Internet Explorer, right?
Right, it is. It's there's Firefox out there, there's, Apple's, what they call Safari. Anything to get on the internet, you want to be able to get to the things that you want to get. Well, Google has their own, and they actually found out it's amazing. It really is. My son, my daughters, they swear by it. They absolutely won't even run anything else. They take everything else off. Now, I believe that Bill Gates didn't become the world's richest man because he's messing up people.
Right,
He's
right.
given a great product. And today now, Internet Explorer actually is the fastest the fastest one out there.
In fact, we just had a connection here, Michael, on one of your tools here that we have as well. But we'll go into YouTube. Now, YouTube is a Google thing?
Google owns it.
I didn't know that.
A lot of people don't.
Okay.
So when you have a Google account, you actually have a YouTube account. You just have to go set it up.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That is pretty amazing.
And here's something I really want to drive home to people. They can actually use this for their go-to. I mean, if you want to know how to fix a lawnmower, whatever, right? You can go to YouTube and check it out. Google it. You want to learn how to knit. You want to know how to make an apple pie. You want to know how to tie a tie. I don't care what it is. You want to know how to fix a pipe on your sink, right? You can go to Google. You go to YouTube, which is a Google-owned product, and it's amazing. This show we're actually going to be doing. This show is going to be up on YouTube.
Oh my goodness.
So people are going to not only just hear it live today, but they can go to my website.
See it again.
Yep, and see it up actually see us. I'll wave to you as I'm saying it.
As we say it here. I told Michael, I said I didn't know this, so folks, if you go up on YouTube, my hair is not as beautiful as it usually is.
You look beautiful every day.
Oh, Michael, I love it, I love it. Hey, we're going to take a break here, but before we do, we're going to mention this a couple of times. You do have a seminar coming up, right?
I do. Yeah, and it says, a lot of people say, why are you doing free seminar? Are you trying to sell things? We're not. Here's what we're interested in doing. We want to stop these idiots, the hackers. And we're seeing it. We'll talk a little bit later on about that bad virus, the heartbeat,
the one that
right?
we heard about last week.
Yeah, that's right. And how it was discovered, which is really neat on the theme that we're talking about today. Makes good sense. But yeah, we're doing an identity theft seminar, teaching people, trying to educate them about identity theft, little things that you can do to protect yourself. And we're going to be doing that tomorrow night at 6 o'clock at the Mainstay Suites, right next to Carlos O'Callaghan's and Applebee's out there. And it starts promptly at 6 o'clock. Bring a notepad. If you don't, we even have notepads for you. And this is an informational time, just to really educate people, and it's a really good thing.
Alrighty. And again, folks, Michael Heeren of Heeren Associates. We're talking about Google today. Michael, of course, our information and technology guru. And if you do have a question for Michael, give us a call here, 690-1370. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
www.hillsdales.org.
And we are back on Voices of the Tri-States. Today we are talking about Google, Googling just about everything. Google is it. Michael, you had, before the show started, before we get back into some of our questions, you'd handed me a bunch of papers here. In fact, there's 6 pages, and you said, you know what these are? And I said, no, Michael, I don't know. And these are just recent acquisitions Google has made.
How many pages I hand you?
6.
6 pages at a very small font.
Yeah.
The smallest font that we could actually see. And it's unbelievable. There's 6 pages, and when you start thinking about all the things that Google is doing all the time, and we're going to get down a little farther down in our list, and we're going to talk about one of the things is Google has, it's called Google X. A lot of people have no idea what that is, but the acquisitions towards the end here, and I kid you not, when they are looking at what Google X is they're working on robots. Google is buying every robotic company that they can. And I kid you not, if you look back on the last page
here.
Actually last 2 pages, you will see every day for approximately 20 days, they bought a new robotics company every single day.
Yeah, we're talking,
Every day.
just the January, February, March here.
All the way through.
Wow.
It's just absolutely amazing. And you got to check this out. We're skipping ahead a little bit, but that's okay, because this is exciting. Google is literally putting together an army of robots. And they show Lockheed and people like that with interest, because they go out and they buy artificial intelligence programs, they're buying robotics companies, putting these things together. These robots are running 30 miles an hour. You can kick them and they stay balanced. I mean, it's absolutely amazing to see what they're doing. And everything from small little things to these type of robots that look like androids or something that, you see in the future in some type of these scientific
What is it, like what was that movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I can't think of it.
If you see some of these running on the treadmill, it looks like that.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, these
isn't
could
that
be
something?
Army guys, you know, and you don't have to worry about them. Imagine your foot soldiers
Wow.
being in the front line. Wouldn't it be better to send robots on the front line
I
instead
would
of our
rather,
boys and
yep,
girls?
yep, I would rather do that, but boy, I'll tell you, it's almost scary. Like I said, the technology to me is scary a little bit. But let's get into something else here. I want to talk Google barges. Tell me about the Google barges.
Right. So the Google barge, you know, we talked about it on the show once before. We thought there was a barge out there. Well, now there's four. Four, Cindy.
Wow.
And they were docked, it was docked, the one was docked in San Francisco's Bay. But the city said no longer, we gotta get it out of here. So they moved it out, and now it's over in, there's several different places. The latest one they're putting in is over in New York. The other one is in Portland, Maine, and another one is in a couple other locations in Portland, Maine, and also in the one in San Francisco. They went to Stockton, California as well. So there's two in Stockton right now, one in Portland, Maine, and then another one that they're just.
And these are just Google locations.
Well, and here's the thing, you know, there's a lot of, you know, nobody really, they're keeping a really tight lid on this.
So we don't know exactly what's inside.
No one really knows for sure. I mean, they even had people come in, you have to sign a disclosure, you can't, I mean, they got this thing tight, they really do. You know, some people are saying that it's, you know, this is the technology bar, just you can go and learn about, you know, incredible technology like the new Google Glass, which we'll talk about.
Right.
But some people are saying, hey, this here, they're tired of the NSA or anybody else coming and say, we want to seize your data. So if they put it in international waters, they can't do that. So,
okay.
and they're trying to protect their people.
So
I think
what it
that's
is.
pretty cool.
Okay, well, let's talk about that Google Glass as long as you brought it up here. Tell me, what is it and what can it do?
Well, the Google Glass is awesome. This coming Saturday, if you have not been a developer, that's the only people who can get it so far as a developer. Now they're going to have an open developer. So if you're interested, whether you really are a developer or not, if you say, hey, you fill out the forms and say, hey, I'm a developer, I want to play around with this thing.
Okay.
You pay your $1,500 and they're going to open it up one day for people, for average Joe out there to grab this glass, they call it because it's on one side of the eye only.
So this would be like eyeglasses.
This is like a monitor at your glass level.
Okay.
And so not only do you can hear from, it's a full computer. And you want to Google something, you say glass record. Go out and Google this, folks. This is absolutely amazing. If you want to imagine you seeing a heads-up display in a car, now you have a heads-up display on your glass anywhere you're at. If you want to know how to get somewhere, you want to walk somewhere, you want to know what this is, there's another app called Google Goggles. Now, you mix these two together. At Google Goggles, you can be somewhere and say, what's that monument there? And you say, you click it on your phone or whatever device that you have, and it takes a picture, it scans it, and then comes back and tells you the information, what that actually is. What that monument is, what that book is, what that vase is. Maybe you don't know what that vase is. You're looking at Goodwill, and you say, I wonder if that's really old or not. So you actually Google Goggle it. And
Say that 3 times.
Yeah, Google Goggle it. So you take the Google Goggles with your glass, not even having a smartphone, you look at it and you say, Google Goggles, what is that? And it comes back and tells you all the information you want to know. Or maybe you're at somewhere and you don't know what that word is. You're seeing a sign and it's in a different language. They have Google Translator.
Oh, wouldn't that be fabulous?
It's amazing. And this Google Goggle will translate that for you and tell you what it is in your language, whatever language that is.
Wow. Let's talk about Google Lunar for a couple seconds. Tell me, we've got a moon race going on that a lot of people don't even know is going on.
That's right. They are challenging. You know, it's been, you know, since John F. Kennedy challenged, you know, our NASA, our government, to say, let's be the first ones to get to the moon. Now it seems like no one even cares. Well, Google says, let's change that attitude. Let's change it. The first company, the first team of people that put together and they don't have to have a human being, but if you can land a robot on the moon, on a lunar module, landed on the moon, they're going to pay them $30 million.
Wow.
That's $30 million. I think we all should, hey, let's get together here. We can do this, guys.
Put a little robot together and send it. You have to actually be the person that sends it up then, right?
Dubuque, Iowa will also be known as the first
Town that sent
that
up.
landed on the moon.
Okay, we'll go with that.
Dubuque. Royal.
It has to be sustainable though.
It'll be sustainable. We'll
Okay.
stay right up there.
Okay, we'll do that. Hey, got a couple other things we want to talk about before we let you go. We always talk about bad viruses being around, and there was one last week they released, Heartbleed, I believe was the name of it.
It
Tell
is.
me what this virus did.
Well, what this is, it's not so much a virus that comes down on your computer,
Okay.
but for the last 2 years, what we know of, it has been put out and programmed and embedded in every website you can think of. And I mean
Everyone.
everyone.
So it doesn't matter.
It doesn't make a difference. I mean, this thing, it's a virus, so it literally it's replicating. It goes from one to the other and embeds, and it's stealth, so you can't see it. It's hard to see it.
So we're talking about, say I just want to go on to anybody's website, could be betterhomesandgardens.com. I go on there, it may have this virus, I've gone on there, then what happens?
Just like you have a key, well, we're kind of hearing about keyloggers. On your computer, there's a keylogger. Every time you type, it sees your information.
Okay,
And that's
so-
what they do. They collect that information, then they sell it. Well, these hackers said, forget the computers, everybody goes to websites. So let's go ahead and embed these keyloggers into a website, and then, like for instance, you do your taxes at some tax place, and they do it, and I can tell you this, the IRS has actually been cleared of it.
Okay,
Google has been cleared, Facebook has been cleared,
okay.
okay? I can tell you at askjet.us, my
Which is your website.
That's right,
You're
it's
cleared.
been cleared.
Okay.
You know, and there's a lot of companies out there who are doing this. They're frantically going through, but they're finding this. And it's kind of neat, we're talking about Google today. Guess who discovered this?
Google.
Google. That's right, an engineer at Google, working with an outside firm, found this, and they actually found it. The first place they found it was on Yahoo's site.
Oh my gosh,
So-
on the Yahoo site.
Yahoo, that's
Yeah,
right.
Okay,
That's right.
so if I have, it wouldn't be necessarily then on my computer, then
No.
it would have been on all these other people's
So you probably
websites.
say to yourself, how do I, antivirus is on my computer, how do I know if I go to a website if it's
Yeah,
okay?
exactly.
Here's how you do it, you go to my website,
Okay.
askjet.us, www.askjet.us, and you'll actually see at the top, it says, not sure if your website is safe. Just take the URL that you want to go to.
Which is the www.whatever.
Whatever that address is, the URL of the website that you want to go to, you're afraid it might be infested with this bad virus
You don't
or
know.
whatever it is.
And maybe it's a shopping site, you don't know.
That's right. If you go to my website, you'll see I have it nice and big right at the top. You can actually paste it, copy it and paste it, or type it in, and then hit enter, and it'll search that website to make sure, and that's from AVG. So I partnered with AVG to say, hey, let's check it out, so people don't have to actually go to a website and see if it's got a bad virus on it or not. Just go to my website, click it in there, AVG will scan that website for you, and then once they say it's okay, then you can go to it.
Then you know it's okay.
Yeah.
Well, Michael, before I let you go, I want you to talk about, you've got that seminar coming up tomorrow. Again, if folks want to go to this identity theft seminar, time, place, how do they
You
get
bet.
there?
This is a free webinar, and we're actually going to be doing some different types of things to see what you should and what you should not do. So we're going to talk all about identity theft. We're going to talk about this CVC code on the back of your credit card. Get it off there, folks. There's no one needs that but you. And I think all of us can memorize a 3-digit number. And if you got so many cards, write them down, put some other numbers with it. Nobody else will know what that is. So things like that. How to get rid of all the junk mail. How to protect yourself from these idiots that are out there. Antivirus is just not enough anymore. So we got to be savvy, web savvy, some of the things that we talked about today. And we're going to do this at 6 o'clock tomorrow night at the Mainstay Suites. That's at 1275 Associate Drive. Yep, and we're going to do that, and there's no cost. Bring friends. And we want to help people, educate people, and I know that's the only way that we can deter identity theft.
Very good, Michael. Well, like I say, as always, our time goes quickly, but I appreciate you stopping in, and we will have you back.
Awesome, thank you very much, have a great day.
You too, Michael. Thank you so much. And again, folks, that was Michael Heeren of Heeren Associates. Hey, folks, join me again 12:30 tomorrow. Coming up, we will be talking Dubuque Community School issues. In the studio, I will have our school board president, Mike Donahue. So for today, for Voices of the Tri-States, I'm Cindy Coleman.
Excellent job.
Fabulous.
As always.
I want you to cheer up a little bit though, okay?
I know, I gotta work on that.
You tend to get really calm and,
I know.
You just
I gotta work on
way too low key, Michael. Way too low key.
no, I love your energy. I just
Oh, my
think
God.
it's